Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kristen, and today I'm going to be doing the reader problems tag. So let's get started. Alright, so before we get really into things and get started on this tag, just gonna give you guys a life update because things might be changing on the channel a little bit in the near future because we are a little more than 30 days away from my husband coming back from Korea. He's been gone for a year, and then a little less than 2 months before we pack everything up and we move to Hawaii. So I'm gonna try and get things kind of videoed and scheduled so that they can go through that little moving period, but it might not happen. So I might have some random videos here and there. It might not be as I don't know, as how do you say it? as on time as usual. I don't know, but you might have videos of me in a hotel room because we're probably gonna be living in a hotel for a couple of months. So yeah, it's just gonna be a crazy period of time. I'm thinking about doing some maybe a little vlogging of the trip and everything is going with that. I'm not sure yet, so we'll see. But I may be MIA for a little bit, I may not. It's just kind of all up in the air right now because there's a ton of stuff going on. So I'm gonna try to get stuff recorded, but don't know if I actually will or not because I'm still working on getting things together. The movers are packing everything, but I kind of want to get stuff together before then. But we shall see how things go. All right, so without further ado, here is the reader problems tag. And I'm going to be reading these off my computer, so I'm going to be looking to the side. So sorry, just how it's going to be today. So number 1, you have 20,000 books on your TBR. How in the world do you decide what to read next? So for me, if it's a next one in the series, I'm going to go for that over other stuff. I'm also going to go with new releases over other stuff. And then after that, literally, it's probably just which one has the prettier cover. I'm probably just going to grab the one with the prettiest cover. So yeah, I'm going to go with new releases and next in series, and then just going to pick by the cover because I like reading pretty books. And sometimes that gets me and it doesn't work out. But a lot of the times it does work out. So that's one of my go-tos. Number 2, you are halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit it or do you commit? And I hate putting down books. I rarely put down books. I think the last one that I put down was You, and that was just because I couldn't get through the language and the smut of it because it was really over the top. I don't usually put them down. I will suffer through it. Right now, I am reading one that I'm not super into, but luckily it's split into different books within the book. So I've been reading one part of the book and then reading a whole nother book and then going to part 2 and reading it and then going and reading a whole nother book. So I'm getting through it slowly but surely, but I'm not giving up on it because I don't like giving up on books. So yeah, so sometimes I'll do that. I'll just read another one in between just to kind of give myself a break. But there's very few that I have actually put down that I don't intend on picking back up. There are some that I want to read eventually. I tried reading some of the older classics that are huge and just couldn't get through that I eventually would like to finish. But as far as putting them down and not picking them back up, it's not something that I usually do. 3, the end of the year is coming and you're so close, but so far in your Goodreads reading challenge. Do you try to catch up and how? So I do try and catch up and I'll just binge read. I'll forego TV. I'll read while I'm eating, and I have 3 kids, so I can't read all the time because that would be neglecting them. But I will end up just trying to finish and get there. There have been years where I've tried that and just completely failed, but I do try and catch up. I can't help myself. Number 4, the covers of a series you love do not match. How do you cope? That doesn't bother me too much because I don't actually like put them together on the shelf. I put them based on color. So it doesn't bother me too bad. One thing that does get me a little bit is if like they're hardbacks and paperbacks. So that one kind of bugs me a little bit. But the covers, not so much, not yet. Sometimes I would like try and get matching ones and just have doubles. But normally that doesn't bother me too much. Just because of the way I keep them on the shelves, it doesn't really change much. 5, everyone and their mother loves a book you don't really like. Who do you bond with over shared feelings? So, I can pretty much tell my husband about any book, and even if we disagree a little bit on it, like we can still like have a good conversation about it. So we did this last night. Like I had a book that I just wasn't super into and I was telling him about it. And like, it's not something he'd be super interested in either, but we were able to have a conversation about it. And he's my go-to to talk about any books all the time because we both love to read, which is really cool. So yeah, that he is always my go-to. I know that's super cheesy, but it is the truth. Number 6, you're reading a book and you're about to start crying in public. How do you deal? I will probably just cry a little bit. I mean, I'm not gonna like bawl in public. I don't think I've ever had a book where I'm like sobbing over. I might like turn my chair a little bit and be like, read like this. I don't know, but I'm not gonna like get up and leave or not finish reading, because if you're that into it, you don't want to get up and move. You don't want to leave. Like, you want to know what's happening. So you suck it up. If people see you crying, then people see you crying. I don't know. They might think you're weird, but who cares? Who cares? You don't stop reading. You suck it up. You just do it anyways. All right, 7. A sequel of a book you loved just came out, but you've forgotten a lot from the prior novel. Will you reread the book, skip the sequel, or try and find a synopsis on Goodreads? I will find a synopsis. I'm definitely not going to skip reading the sequel. And this happens to me a lot, and I am one of the kind of people, and I wish I wasn't, I do not remember a lot of details from books, and that really bugs me. Like, my husband can remember, like, everything, and I just can't, and I don't know why. I just don't have a good memory. It's not like I'm not paying attention when I'm reading it. I do. I'm engrossed in it. Maybe I'm too engrossed in it. Maybe that's why I don't remember. I don't know. But I have a really bad memory. So more than likely, unless like I'm reading one after the other, I'm not going to remember a whole lot. I might remember like the major plot points. So I will go on Goodreads. I will read a synopsis and try and like get myself back into it. And normally when you start reading the sequel, it all starts coming back anyways. So I don't really worry about it too much. But yeah, I definitely try to read a synopsis, try to find out. I don't skip it. I definitely don't skip it. And who has time to keep rereading when there's so many on my TBR anyways? Like, I can't just continue to keep reading books. So rereading, so yeah, definitely finding a synopsis. Okay, number 8, you do not want anyone borrowing your books. How do you politely tell people no when they ask? I don't know how to say no. I don't mind people borrowing my books. I do worry that they won't return them, and then I'll get all like anxious about asking them for it back. But I don't mind lending out my books. I really don't. If it's a book I absolutely love and it's freaking me out to share it, like, I might have some reservations, but I am one of the kind of people who just has a really hard time saying no. And as horrible as that is, it just is who I am. And I just can't help it. So I just let them borrow it. I just do. So if you want to borrow my books, I'm going to say yes if I don't want to. But usually I don't mind. I really don't mind sharing my books with others because, I love sharing, stories with people. So yeah. Next, reading ADD. You picked up and put down 5 books in the last month. How do you get over your reading slump? If I've done that, that's really rare. I'll just sit down and suck it up and read. Just like I'm doing with this one book. Like, I am so organized and so like scheduled in my reading and like my goals that like to put down 5 books and like would totally put me off of my schedule and would freak me out. And so, and I mean, that might sound like I don't enjoy reading. I'm just doing it to reach the goal, and that's not the truth. But also, like, sometimes, you know, a book is super slow going and then it just gets going and you like it. So sometimes you just have to trudge through. I'll just sit down and suck it up and read it. Like, no, you're not putting this book down. You're going to read through this book before you can pick up the one that you really, really love. So there's some motivation in there. Like, you can't read this one you really want to read until this one's done. So you better get this one done, kind of thing. Yeah. Number 10, there are so many new books coming out that you're dying to read. How many do you actually buy? And I will probably end up buying them all. I have a very bad pre-order habit. And I'm like sitting here, I'm like, I've got all these books. I don't need to buy another book. And then I'm like, oh, I need this one. And then I'm just on Amazon and I get it. Or I have an unexpected day without kids and it's like, oh, Second Charles. So I will usually end up buying at least like 80% of the books that are coming out that I really want. Yes, I used to be a big library person when my husband was home because that was easy for me to just run to the library and get a bunch of things. Right now, it's not easy for me. I'm not super into taking all 3 of my very small children into the library because it's chaotic. And they have not been to the library in a while, which I'm okay with because of COVID, and they don't really need to be out in places, you know, that they don't have to be at. But yeah, I hopefully, you know, when we go to Hawaii, like, I will probably be a library person again because I can take that time to go and do it by myself. Or if I'm bringing everybody, there's an extra person there to help because a 7, 3, and 1-year-old are not exactly easy to take into anywhere. So, yeah, no. What was the question again? Oh my goodness. Yes, I do buy most of the books that I want to read that are coming out. I do. And last, after you've bought the new books you can't wait to get to, how long do they sit on your shelf before you get to them? Sad story, not that, I wouldn't say too long, a month, maybe 2, that they'll sit because I'm so, like I said, so scheduled and like what I'm planning. If I like randomly buy a bunch of books, like I'm like, well, I have to get through these books that I had on my TBR for the month and then I'll get to this one. So that's kind of what's happening right now because I just bought like Christmas money. I bought a bunch of books and they're kind of sitting and waiting, you know, to go on to the next TBR. So really usually only like a month, maybe 2. I mean, there are the like times when maybe like they just sit. But usually not more than a couple of months. I'll usually get to them. Yeah. So anyways, that was a fun little tag. I will link the original video down below. I've enjoyed this video. I kind of like just chatting and not like feeling nervous about giving away stuff from books and being really bad at reviewing them. I kind of liked just chatting with the camera, so may do more of these kinds of tags and things in the future. Who knows? So anyways, that was the tag. That was fun. And I don't know how things are gonna look for the channel coming up, but hopefully I can still keep up with it. And when we get to Hawaii, there'll be lots of new and fun places to record and things to do, and I'm looking forward to it. So I hope you guys will like the little bit of a change that will probably come with the channel in the next few months. So, yep. All right, we'll catch you guys next time.